Welcome to the Roval Components How to Install a Road Tubeless Tire instructional video. This video will provide an easy step-by-step guide to get you rolling on your bike with all the advantages of a tubeless system. We'll be using the new Roval Rapide CLX2 tubeless wheels and specialized turbo rapid air tubeless tires in this video, but these instructions will work for just about any tubeless road wheel and tire. First, ensure you've got everything you need: tubeless-compatible wheels, tubeless-compatible tires, tubeless valves, tubeless sealant, a tire lever, a valve tool or needle nose pliers, a floor pump, either a sponge with soapy water or a spray bottle with isopropyl alcohol, and tubeless tape, a pick, and sharp scissors if installing fresh rim tape. If you're using Roval Tubeless wheels and many other brands, you'll find the tubeless tape already installed. If not, you'll need to install rim tape. Follow your wheel manufacturer's tape width recommendation. We're using 25mm on CLX2s. First, find the valve hole. You'll want to start your tape at 2 to 3 spokes past the valve hole to overlap the hole twice. Cut the end of your tape into a point. This helps the tape adhere to the rim's drop center. Press the tape down and begin wrapping the entire length of the rim. Ensure you keep tension on the tape the entire way through and keep the tape straight on the rim bed. Not tensioning enough can lead to leaks, and tape that overlaps the rim wall can make it tough for your tire to seat. Once you make it to your starting point, overlap the tape and continue taping with tension until you pass the valve hole by 2 to 3 spokes. Cut the tape into a point and press it down firmly. Using a plastic tire lever along the entire length of the taped rim will help the tape adhere and reduce the chance of leaks. Regardless of if you installed tape or not, inspect your tubeless tape to ensure it is centered in the rim bed, no spoke holes are visible, and there are no ripples or folds. Now, install your tubeless valve. Pre-installed rim tape should already have a hole for the valve. If not, then using a pick, create a puncture in the center of the valve hole, just wide enough for the valve stem to be inserted through. Take care not to tear the tape or scratch your rim. Insert the valve stem into the valve hole and press it firmly into the rim bed. Finger tighten the valve nut snugly to the rim to secure the valve. Using a plastic tire lever, you can press down on the valve stem and tighten the nut further to keep it tight after you have mounted the tire and inflated it to a high air pressure. Unwrap your tubeless tire and align it with the wheel. Many tires are directional. If so, ensure they are pointing the right way and set the tire hot patch or logo to align with the valve for a consistent look. Start installing the tire by mounting one side of the tire bead into the rim bed. Begin 180 degrees away from the valve and work the tire bead over the rim wall and into the rim bed evenly around to the valve. Hold the inserted portion of tire tight to the rim as you work your way around to ensure it doesn't fall out. If the final few centimeters of the bead prove difficult, feel free to use a plastic tire lever. Ensure the tire bead is sitting in the drop center of the rim bed and not against the rim wall. This ensures maximum slack for the easiest install. Continue now with the other tire bead, again ensuring it sits in the drop center of the rim for maximum slack. Hold the newly mounted bead tight to ensure it does not pop out and work your way around the wheel. Stop before the final 15 centimeters of the second bead are installed. Here you'll have your first option to install tire sealant. We prefer rotating the open bead down and pouring the tire sealant into the tire at this point. We use rapid air sealant. Designed specifically for high-pressure road tubeless, you'll pour in between 30 and 40 milliliters of sealant per tire for best results. Then rotate the open bead back to the top of the wheel so the sealant pours down to the bottom of the tire. Finish mounting the final 15 centimeters of bead. Most riders will find a tire lever necessary to get the final portion of bead mounted. For extra help, you can lubricate the bead and rim wall with a spray of alcohol or some soapy water. Double-check the tire bead at the wheel valve to ensure no part of the bead is hung up on the valve. This is the most common issue when having problems inflating your tires. If you did not install your tire sealant with our preferred method, you would now remove the valve core with a valve tool or needle nose pliers and squeeze it into the tire and rim through the valve. Once sealant is installed, replace the valve core. You're now ready to pump up your tubeless tires. Roval Tubeless wheels are designed to allow a tubeless tire to be inflated with a floor pump. The goal is to get a high volume of air into the tire quickly to pop the tire bead up onto the tire shelf, so give it a few quick and powerful strokes to get started. You'll hear a few audible pops as the bead locks in. This is a good sound. Never exceed the recommended tire pressure or rim pressure as you mount the tire. With Rapide and Alpinist tubeless wheels, that pressure is 110 psi or 7.58 bar. If you are having any issues getting enough air volume to pop the tire bead in place, try removing the valve core to increase air volume as you pump. If you have access to an air compressor, that can easily mount the tire, or using a CO2 cartridge will supply the extra volume needed to pop the tire bead onto the tire shelf. That spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol or soapy water will come in handy here as well. Once the tire has been successfully mounted and inflated, check that the distance between the tire install line and the rim wall is consistent to ensure the bead is fully engaged. If it's not, let the air out and try reinflating. To distribute the sealant throughout the entire tire, hold the wheel at the hub's end caps and spin the wheel for around 20 seconds. You can also bounce the wheel on the floor for a full rotation to splash the sealant up against the bead. Inflate the tire to your preferred riding pressure, starting with the recommended riding pressure that can be found on rovalcomponents.com. And remember to never go past the max recommended pressure of your tire or rim. If they are not the same, always stop at the lower of the two max pressures. Now, it's time to put your wheels on your bike and go for a ride to enjoy the efficiency, handling, comfort, and puncture protection of a tubeless system. In the unlikely event you get a flat, you can just insert a tube as you would for any flat and continue on your ride. We hope you enjoy the improved performance of your tubeless system for many, many miles. If you do run into issues installing your tubeless tires these instructions don't solve, please head to your local Roval or specialized dealer. They'll be happy to help.